what do you think the shift was between, like I said, when our parents were getting together, our grandparents were getting together, versus the dating market as it is now?
People probably gonna hate me for this, but I blame it all on feminism. I'm not gonna hold you. I blame a lot of it on just the divide of we don't need each other. And because I would say that started with our grandparents, in their generation. Moving forward to now us, we have so many people that they want to be in relationships, they want to be with each other, but they just don't know how. The divide was that. I don't believe there's one specific gender to blame for the issue. I believe that one could hold more weight than the other, and I do put a lot of weight on the women because, women control access to having children. So essentially, that's the family unit. It is up to women, for me, in my point of view, to hold that accountability to picking the right man, right? And then when you pick the right man, now you got the right family. Right, because there's not all men ain't bad. All men ain't bad, right? So no matter how they try to depict that, there's good men out there. So it is to the women to have to vet those men and leave the no good men alone. Men are going to kind of try to sleep with whoever, right? Like they're just going to try to hunch on whatever allows them to. So if women are allowing them to, then hey, that's what's going to happen.
That's absolutely true. I do agree with feminism. And y'all, I have my tin hat here just in case, because y'all know I love to go down these rabbit holes. In my opinion, I think it's definitely a combination of feminism, but I think a more insidious level to that is the elite. They want to depopulate the earth. This is something that they've been talking about for quite some time. This divide between men and women, this transcends the Black community at this point. The divide was really fueled by that desire for depopulation. So that's how you get the feminism that was infected into the minds of women. And I'm not talking about all feminism. I think, having the ability to own property, work, get jobs, work, vote, all of that makes sense. But once you start gearing the feminist message, which this was the messaging at the beginning of it too. A lot of people don't know that. We talk about the different waves of feminism. That's like with policy and different things like that. But even at the inception of feminism, there was already that anti-man sentiment within it. They convinced the women they don't need their man. They don't need to be with a man. And then convince them that they can do everything a man can do, which is insane.
There's that whole song, anything you can do, I can do better, right? It's something that was ingrained in our ladies and our women from very small, and not knowing we're different, but we have our own strengths. Right. It's a beautiful thing. I don't want to be a woman. I don't want to have, look, today, I got to work. I work hard. I'm out there busting my behind on the street doing work, right? Lifting up ladders, going on poles, doing all the man stuff. My wife don't want to do that. I don't want to be at home vacuuming and cooking and cleaning and all that either. So we have our own strengths, that what we do and what we don't want to do and who we are just naturally by nature. We got to embrace that. And that's what this is, right? Trying to bring that back, nurturing nature. Family.
There's a yin and yang when it comes to men and women. We offer different things, but feminism has deluded women into thinking that what they offer is lesser than. And that's absolutely insane. And the fact that they're getting women to stray away from the very thing that makes us special is crazy work to me.
Crazy.
We create people. I've created 2 people of my own. It's a lot, but that is a superpower that women have. And men, the whole infrastructure of the world was built off the backs of men. So, we offer different things, but they are both extremely valuable to the fabric of the world, the population of human beings.
I love what that person in the comments just said. That person said the grass is greener type shit. Yeah.
Yes.
It's so true. We always feel like it's better to be the opposite, but in reality, it's like, yo, no, we're good how we are, and you're good how you are. And I don't want to be you. I don't look at another man and envy another man. I don't want to be another man. I want to be the best version of myself. And I think if we take that to relationships and everything, we'll be fine as a society. We'll be fine as a people. But this is where content creators come in, right? Reality content creators are more famous than any celebrity that's out there right now. So this is where we have the microphones to be able to talk to the younger people that want to learn something and want to be different in life, right? I would want my son to marry a daughter raised by a woman like you. That's how it goes.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. And likewise, I want to get into that grass is greener types because I think that that plays a very big role, not just in how we view man to woman, dynamics, but then also just relationships in general. One of the things that I think also contributes to this is everyone going on Instagram and they're seeing these fake relationships where they're posting everything super perfect. One of the examples I have is like the dates. So they'll post like the man did this like little date thing where he laid out the flower petals and he did this and he bought me a Chanel bag and he did this, that, and the third. And I'm just like, all of that is pretty much fake. Like it's most of that content out there is
Yeah.
fake. And so you'll have women who are with a good man, a good man who does take them on dates, who does do right by them, isn't, promiscuous, cheating on them. But then they'll get online and they'll look at all of this content and then they'll compare their relationship to something that is fake, fraudulent.
Right.
And then they're going back
Mm-hmm.
to their man being like, well, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? And, I'm not a man, so I can't say the man's perspective on that and how social media is affecting y'all's side of the relationship. But I see that a lot with the women. That grass is always greener when it comes to other people's relationships.
Right. It's crazy. But, in reality, it's all fake, right? I try to say, even in my household, like sometimes we'll have to put down the phones and we're not focusing so much on what's happening on into Instagram and YouTube and Facebook. And we got to put down the phone sometimes because it puts this narrative in your head like that's how life is supposed to be. And in reality, what we're living right now is how life's supposed to be. If we're struggling together, we're struggling together. We're figuring it out. We're going to get there. I'm the man that, and I'm not just saying me in general, but find yourself a man that is at least trying. Now, trying looks different. I'm not talking about a 40-year-old rapper. No, I'm talking about a man that you see him getting up every day, going to do something that he doesn't want to do, but he has to do it, and he's doing it for a purpose. That's a man that women should find and choose to be with. Unfortunately, it's the opposite. Like you said, there's all of these Insta celebrities and they're painting this picture of perfection. These people are out there struggling. I know it for a fact. They're out there struggling. Their relationships are trash. They're in and out of marriages every 2 years, not even, sometimes 7 months. Everything about their lives is hard. They make it look good. They make hard look good.
I love the way you put that. Make hard look good.
It's crazy when we need to really figure out a way on how to make our own lives look good. I look good to my wife. My wife loves to see me get up every day, go out to work, come back, and I'm here building a whole media company. She loves that. She looks at me like, that's a man right there. But I tell women all the time, find a man like that. Find a man that's trying, that's literally putting in the work every day.
I agree.
We're built for this. We have shoulders for this. You know what I'm saying? We're built to carry the world on our back. And it's up to the woman to support the man.
That is very true. I agree with that sentiment 1000% because I see Justin, he's a software developer and he also works with developing games. He has 2 different games, well, actually more than that he's working on right now and he's producing. Ever since I've known him, he's been just working hard. I mean, he's self-taught. He's a self-taught software engineer. So it's not always going to be easy with everything. There's ups and downs, even with Justin having as much experience and hard work. It's not always like everything going perfect at every point in time. But whenever you find somebody that is tenacious and they're sticking to it and they're putting their best effort into everything that they do, that is a keeper. And when it comes to the women, having a woman that is supportive of what you're doing makes the difference. I'm not going to say any names, but there's a couple that me and Justin know, and he had a vision for something that he wanted to do through Roblox because it's very profitable to make little mini games within Roblox. And he wanted to invest money into it. His fiance, I think now wife, was like, no, don't do this. You should go get a 9-to-5, telling him to basically put his dreams on the back burner because she wanted to be comfortable. I understand the desire for comfort, but when it comes to building something that's going to last, when you have a man that has the hard work, the dedication, and he's not like a brand new developer, he has the things under his belt that you can see.
Right.
Not supporting your man when he's trying to do something like that is crazy work to me. What is it that you think most men are out here looking for when it comes to finding the one?
We're looking for a cooperative woman. Married men could say the same thing, and men in the dating market. I'm not talking about all men, right? There's some men that enjoy being beneath a woman, right? That's fine. They exist. They love it. That's all they want to do. A man that's about his purpose. We need women that's cooperative, right? That's really, and cooperativeness comes with femininity. It comes with nurturing. It comes with being soft. It comes with so much, right? But that's really what men want, peace. And when you're cooperative, you bring that sense of peace. I don't have to argue with you. Like you said, your boy that's building out a software for a game, but his wife is telling him to go get a job. That's not cooperativeness. That's not peace. You could say, okay, listen, we could be uncomfortable so long as we could pay the bills. On top of me paying the bills, I'm going to have to spend the bulk of my time outside of work building something. Yeah, look at myself, like, and I don't want to keep bringing it back to me, but like I said, I'm in leadership at my job. I have a team that reports to me, and it's a lot of people. I have to deal with them even outside of work. So I'm filming and answering the phone for my regular 9 to 5. So I'm working while building myself. But you have to have a woman that's cooperative, that's not going to push that dream aside. It has to work that way. Other than that, most men give up on their dreams because of their women.
That's true. What do you think it is about cooperating that women have such an aversion to?
I think a lot of women are, and I don't mean this by no disrespect, but I do think a lot of women are more selfish. And I think a lot of women were, and I'm not saying all, I'm saying a lot. I know I got to be very specific on YouTube.
Yeah.
But
thumb thuggers,
not all.
as I call them.
Yeah, but exactly. So, but a lot of women are selfish. Well, they were taught as if they're queens, goddesses, princesses, all of the above. So when a man wants to do something, it's like, well, no, what about me? I need to be first. Like after you put me first, then you could think about you. Not thinking that the man always needs to be first because the man is what's building, right? And then me putting God above me looking at God and then you looking at me is what's going to allow our family to grow. If I have to look at you all the time, how could I grow when you're my ceiling? It's impossible.
That makes a lot of sense. I like the way you put that. This kind of ties back into the feminism. I think feminism, with the doors being opened, it has created that sense of selfishness. And I think that stems from an overcorrection. That's what tends to happen with society. So we'll be in one extreme and then we'll overcorrect to the other extreme. When my grandparents and great grandparents were coming up, the woman, you stayed at home, you took care of the kids, whatever it is that the man needed you to do, you did it. You didn't argue. You shut the hell up. You did what you needed to do in the background. And that was the role of the woman. And so then you have that overcorrection, because I do think that as women, we're still human beings. We still should have our joys in life with being a wife or being a mother, but then also our own little personal joys and being able to do that as well. So the overcorrection was, they call it slavery now. They call it slavery to take care of the person that you love, which first of all, disrespectful to the history of what slavery was. But I digress. Right. They call it slavery now to be in service to the person that you love. It leads into that demand, like, I'm not going to do anything and I expect the man to do everything. And I agree, that is extremely selfish. And I want to be balanced with the conversation, especially like you said, YouTube. We know the thumb thuggers, they hear one thing and then they take their brain, they remove it from their skull and they put it on the desk next to them and then they just start typing away. So I do want to be balanced and, get into, what do you think are the issues with men in the dating market as far as trying to find, the good mate? What is it that men can be doing better in this dating market?
I think men need to find other male mentors. I think that's the biggest problem with men nowadays. We are looking at men on the same level as us and not men that's doing more than us, being in a place where we want to be. If we want to be husbands, then we need to look at husbands and talk to them that guide me. And not all husbands are going to guide you in the right direction, right? There's some husbands that look up to their wives, which is crazy. Find a husband that you see that's straight leaders. And then, only then, would you be successful in finding good relationships. But in anything that you do, business, school, you need a mentor. You need people that are where you want to be in order to successfully get there. So that's where men lack. The men with the knowledge don't choose to talk to the other men without it. I noticed that especially doing this show. Life for men should not be centered around building a relationship. Life for men should be centered more around building yourself. And then once you build yourself, a proper relationship goes within. Now you understand what it is to be a man because you built yourself. The problem is that when you don't have the proper men that's like, hey, youngin, come here and let me talk to you, then yeah, it's going to be hard.
I love that you're talking about men coming together and having that mentorship with somebody that has the life that you want. I think it's very similar with women. I understand why a lot of women don't want to talk to other women is because the moment you say anything about, like you said, being cooperative with your man, taking care of your man, they will call you, and they've called me this plenty of times. I'm sure if I clip this, they'll call me again. They'll call you pick me, mammy. They'll call you all sorts of stuff. It makes you resentful and bitter. I'm trying to tell you how to get what I have. Women enough will get online and talk about how they're going on dates and things aren't working out or men aren't approaching them. So there is a desire for what married women have, or women that are in long-term relationships have, but then don't want to actually listen to the advice that comes with it. And so I think that mentorship, it's very important. Even though, you know, people say the pick me and all the other stuff, I do encourage other women that are married and that have long-term relationships, or at least a healthy mindset around relationships, being very vocal, not just online, but then also with your family members. Definitely hit the link down below for the trailer, subscribe to his channel, and then also turn on the notification bell. Yeah, I think we kind of sleep on that notification bell.
Yes.
Turn it on so that you're notified once the first episode goes up. I will be sitting there drinking my tea. Okay, tune in for the first episode, and that's going to be on February 12th.
12th. Yep. This Thursday.
Yes.